Now at 9, the Ottawa County 4-H Club hosts a showdio in Miami. We'll hear from the participants. Plus, George Washington Carver is remembered today with the premiere of a locally produced film. And
Joe Biden is in Texas today, marking his first visit to the southern border as president. I'm Lucas Tomlinson at the White House. I'll have the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Cale Chapman. Area youth got to participate in a showdio event today in Miami. KOAM's Yana Atala participated in the event hosted by the Ottawa County 4-H Horse Club and has more.
Local youth gathered their animals today for the monthly showdio hosted by Ottawa County 4-H Horse Club.
It teaches so many life skills and then, teamwork. I mean, a lot of these kids are competing, but they're also encouraging each other and working together too.
Jamie Foster, 4-H volunteer judging the showmanship competition, says this event is important for the youth to get some practice in and raise some money.
They do a silent auction at each one and just try to raise a little bit more money for their year-end awards.
Kyron Newton participated in showmanship with her Pony River. Participants do a pattern and they are judged on how well they can control their horse on the ground. Newton says she has been preparing at home for the event.
You walk forward, you turn around, then you trot and you back up 5 steps.
She thinks the showmanship was a success. Next up was the rodeo events, which include competitions such as barrel racing, which is a timed event.
You do all these events and you, at the end of the horse shows, you get rewarded by stuff.
Events like this would not be possible without the time and effort volunteers put in.
It takes a lot to put one of these on, and without the parents and the volunteers stepping in to help these kids, they don't have anything else to do. The kids can't do it themselves, so the volunteers and the parents really help put these things together.
Foster mentions Northeastern Oklahoma College is graciously letting the 4-H Club use the indoor arena.
For NEO to let them use the arena, it's a big plus and a big help for the kids.
In Miami, Yana Haudala, KOAM News.
Foster says the event is held 6 to 7 times a year. And now you may know him as a Peanut Man, but the George Washington Carver Museum in Diamond, Missouri is changing that narrative. With this year being the 80th anniversary of Carver's death, the museum celebrated his life by showing the locally produced film, Seeds of Success. The film educated attendees on Carver's life as a humanitarian, plant doctor, and agricultural scientist.
Being where he grew up, where he lived, being here, learning his story has been a huge part of my journey here at the park as well as, and so it's just kind of nice to get a chance to share that with others.
That comes in very well.
According to the film, the Kansas native broke racial barriers and saved peanuts from extinction. Our student meteorologist Chloe joins us now for a first look at the weather.
Okay, now I want some peanuts now that you're talking about that. Current temperatures right now are hanging around in the mid to lower 30s right now. Miami's sitting at 33, Grove at 32, Yates Center up there at 37. So across the board, very cold right now. That's going to continue into this evening, about 36 degrees around 11 p.m. And then when you wake up in the morning, we're still going to hang around in those lower 30s for your temperatures. Now coming up here in a bit, we've got quite a bit to talk about. First off, these warmer temps in the next few days on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then our chance for rain and possibly some wintry mix on Thursday, and then maybe even another storm system on Monday. Followed by that, we may see another cold blast soon. I'll have all of that information coming up here in just a bit.
Sweet, thank you, Chloe. Well, the president is heading south to Texas today to get a briefing from border officials. His trip comes as critics say his administration has not done enough to get a handle on the nonstop flow of migrants. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has that story.
President Biden in El Paso today, getting a first-hand look at the developing humanitarian crisis on the southern border. Last year, the number of illegal crossings soared to its highest level ever. The White House wants to reduce that number by processing more migrants under an immigration code known as Title VIII, which they say will expedite removals at the border and ban migrants from re-entering for 5 years.
I think Title 42 is the reason why those apprehension or encounter numbers are so high, because people kept trying over and over and over again. Title 8 is much more punitive, and I think that is what the administration is ultimately going to go toward.
Immigration advocates say the proposed changes are inhumane and resemble the hardline approach of the Trump administration. Many migrants are coming from Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, fleeing dangerous conditions and oppressive regimes in their home countries. The border visit is the first of Biden's presidency, one that Republicans say should have come much sooner.
He's 2 years and about $20 billion too late. He needs to step up and take swift action, including reimbursing the state of Texas for the money that we spent, but providing more resources for the federal government to do its job.
President Biden next heads to Mexico City to meet with other North American leaders, where immigration is expected to be a major topic. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
The 118th Congress will reconvene tomorrow after Kevin McCarthy became the Speaker early Saturday morning. First on the House's agenda, passing the rules package. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
Well, tomorrow will be a test in how well the Republican majority can work together moving forward. A vote is scheduled on the new rules package. And Congressman Jim Jordan saying today on Fox News Sunday that he believes it will pass, adding that the dramatic differences that played out during the 5-day-long Speaker vote has only strengthened the party.
So sometimes democracy's messy, but I would argue that's exactly how the founders intended it. They wanted real debate, real input from all people.
But Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez already stated that he will not be supporting the rules package. This is due to agreements made by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy with Freedom Caucus members who had vowed to block his speakership if he did not give in to demands. Those concessions include a cap on discretionary spending, 3 seats on the Rules Committee for Freedom Caucus members, and the ability to more easily oust McCarthy. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries feels a small group of Republicans have been given too much power.
While the Congress was held captive this particular time, what is going to be a problem is if the American people will be held captive over the next 2 years to the extreme MAGA Republican agenda that apparently has been negotiated into the House rules and the functioning of the Congress. That's going to undermine the health, the safety, and the well-being of the American people.
House Republicans as a whole do have ambitious plans ahead. They promise to quickly launch investigations into areas such as the Justice Department, the southern border, COVID-19, the Afghanistan withdrawal, and the business dealings of Hunter Biden. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Raymond Griffin III, a Nevada, Missouri native, is currently serving in the U.S. Army. Griffin began his service in 2009 and currently serves at the Camp Clark Training Center. A decorated serviceman, Griffin has been awarded the Army Reserve Components Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Medal, Missouri Long Service Ribbon, and the Missouri State Emergency Ribbon. To Sergeant Raymond Griffin, we thank you, our four-state hero. And later on in sports, our sports director Jacob Leonard sits down with the Colgan basketball head coach to discuss the team. China, after recently garnering international attention for its harsh handling of the latest COVID surge, now says it's trying to relax those restrictions. China says it's because COVID infection rates are dropping, but global health officials warn those numbers don't tell the whole story. Fox News correspondent Trey Yingst has more.
The World Health Organization says China is currently underrepresenting the number of COVID cases sweeping the country.
It's been a major point of contention between leadership in Beijing and the WHO, whose officials say the Chinese have narrowed the definition of what counts as a COVID death. They're also reportedly not providing full data on the current outbreak. In December, China reported 120,000 new weekly cases and weekly deaths ranging between 200 and 400 people, though images on the ground tell a different story. Overflowing hospitals and morgues indicate the true numbers are likely much higher.
With circulation in China so high and comprehensive data not forthcoming, as I said last week, it's understandable that some countries are taking steps they believe will protect their own citizens. This data is useful to WHO and the world, and we encourage all countries to share it.
Another piece of evidence that alerted the international community to the high caseload in China was the testing of arriving passengers at airports. In late December, 2 flights from China to Italy were tested, and the results were staggering. On one plane, half of the passengers were positive for coronavirus, and the other plane had more than 30% of people with the infection. The recent developments come after China got rid of its zero-COVID policy amid increased internal pressure.
A new highly transmissible subvariant of COVID-19 is spreading right now, and it's why health officials say they need up-to-date data to help slow the spread. In Jerusalem, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Well, you may want to swap sugar for honey to keep your health and to keep your treats sweet. A recent study published in Nutrition Reviews says replacing sugar with raw honey can help control blood sugar levels when combined with a healthy diet. A researcher on the study says honey is about 80% sugar, and avoiding using both honey or sugar altogether is ideal. But if you're looking to make something sweeter, honey would be the better choice. Consuming honey was associated with lowering levels of blood glucose, cholesterol, and triglycerides. While this is good for adults and children, parents should know that honey is not safe for infants younger than 12 months. Researchers at the University of Southern California found that one way of helping solve the opioid crisis is by letting doctors know when their patients die from overdoses. The researchers found doctors reduced prescription numbers over the next 3 months when notified by medical examiners of patients' opioid overdose death. The lasting effects were noticed up to a year later. The scientists say doctors receiving injunctions from authorities and awareness of harm could explain the effects. Our student meteorologist Chloe is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, how a popular fast food restaurant is using technology to faster serve their customers.
Well, I sure hope someone likes those colder temperatures, because I sure don't. Definitely makes my tongue twisted for sure. Let's take a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort live in Seneca, Missouri right now. The sun has just set and very cold, and it's only going to get colder from there. Temperatures hanging around in the mid to lower 30s across the board. Miami at 33, Grove at 32 at that freezing level. Chanute up there at 35, so pretty normal across the board, pretty average for this time of year, but still very chilly. And even taking a wider look, we're still very cold across the board. Little Rock down there at 46. Oklahoma City down there at 43, so very winter-like right now, but those temperatures, they might warm up pretty soon here. Let's take a look at the next few days, this setup we've got going on. So Monday at about 4:30, we'll have some clouds push out of our region, and we'll be a little bit warmer on Monday afternoon, and then into Tuesday afternoon. That's where we're going to get a little bit of a heat wave going on, and I say a little bit just because it's only a tad bit. Joplin expected to be at about 62 degrees. And then as we head into Wednesday, this is where it's going to get a little bit interesting. We'll have some cloud coverage, and then we'll have a cold front push through late Wednesday into Thursday morning, and that's when we're going to see this next system. We'll have some rain for the most part, but some people may wake up on Thursday morning with a couple flurries here and there. Now the ground is going to be a little on the warmer side, so maybe a little too warm for any accumulation to be prominent, but you may see a couple flurries as you wake up. That's going to be out of our region, by the time we head into the afternoon. And then Thursday evening, all we're left is really frigid temperatures. But taking it back just a little bit, Monday afternoon, we'll have some winds associated with the afternoon, winds upwards of 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. And then we'll also have those wind gusts along with that. It won't be as prominent. It should be popping up right now, but it will be up to 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts across the region in the mid-morning into the afternoon hours, and then that'll fade out by the time we head into the evening. Now let's take a look at this 7-day. In here in just a second, we've got our temperatures tonight in the 30s, and then for our 7-day now, we've got temperatures pretty warm on Tuesday and Wednesday in the lower 60s. We'll have this chance for precipitation and maybe some flurries along with that on Thursday, and then the next thing to keep note of is this chance for precipitation Monday evening. We'll have a possibility for another storm system pushing it through.
Looks like it's going to be a wet start for the semester. I know I got to go back to class, and I'm sure Missouri Southern, they're doing the same thing this next week is our start of the spring semester.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to drive. I don't want my books to get wet.
That's no fun.
Alrighty, well, coming up, why Chick-fil-A is warning app users to change their passwords and check recent transactions. Meet Flippy, White Castle's newest employee serving up burgers across the country. White Castle is rolling out its burger flipping and French frying robot at 100 locations nationwide. Flippy 2, made in collaboration with Miso Robotics, can fry up a variety of foods like onion rings and chicken tenders with many different configurations. White Castle's vice president says the robot is meant to help empower the company's workers as the restaurant industry faces a staffing shortage. Chains like Jack in the Box, Panera Bread, and Chipotle have also invested in the robot cook, eyeing the technology as a way to save time and money. The popular chicken-based restaurant chain is putting out public notices, such as through Twitter, about some suspicious activities hitting some customers' Chick-fil-A One accounts. Chick-fil-A hasn't specified details of the activities, but says its own internal systems aren't a source. The company says it's taken measures to secure the affected accounts, while meanwhile enhancing its security protocols. Users of the Chick-fil-A One accounts have been advised to change their account passwords. A report says Amazon and its voice assistant Alexa will be teamed up with EVgo, one of the largest U.S. EV charging networks, to help you find a charging station when you're on the road. Alexa will use data from EVgo's PlugShare communities. If the driver chooses an EVgo charge station, Alexa's voice command response can help pay for the charge. EVgo has more than 850 fast charge stations in more than 30 states. Amazon says the service should be available later this year. And up next, how a woman that was enjoying a trip at the Everglades National Park received more than she bargained for. A visitor in Florida had a trip to remember when she saw a massive snake in the middle of the road. Kimberly Clark recently visited Florida's Everglades National Park to enjoy wildlife sightings, and she got more than she bargained for: a 15-foot Burmese python slithering across the road to get into more friendly and hidden grasslands. Clark pinned the location of the python and reported it to the authorities. Burmese pythons aren't native to the Everglades and are considered an invasive species. We've got 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, authorities look into how a young child was able to get his hands on a loaded gun in Virginia. Police in Virginia are trying to figure out how a 6-year-old got a hold of a loaded gun, shooting his teacher in an altercation inside their first grade classroom on Friday. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has that story.
The teacher, Abigail Zwerner, is now listed in stable condition after suffering life-threatening injuries from that shooting. Police say a 6-year-old shot her with a handgun in a first-grade classroom Friday afternoon at Richnick Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia. It's unclear exactly what led up to the shooting, though police do say this was an isolated incident and that some sort of altercation took place.
The altercation was between a 6-year-old, the student who did have the firearm, and the teacher, and then a round was fired. Like I said, she suffered a gunshot wound and has been transported to the hospital. That's where my thoughts and prayers are at right now.
We need to keep the guns out of the hands of our young people. This is evidence today that these are the things that happen when we have access to weapons.
Police say this was not an accidental shooting. It's unclear how the 6-year-old boy gained access to a loaded gun. The devastating incident, of course, rocking the community.
I'm in awe and I'm in shock, and I'm disheartened. The day was really a breakdown in what our values are as a community, what our values are as a city, and what our values are as a school division.
District officials say the elementary school will be closed Monday and Tuesday to allow time to heal. Christina Coleman, Fox News.
Skywatch weather on deck. Chloe, what's going on?
Yeah, so we've got some really cold temperatures right now, hanging around in the mid to lower 30s. Miami sitting at 33, Joplin up there at 36, Pittsburgh at 35 right now. Pretty consistent across the board, but consistently cold. Not my favorite. Right now, we're going to continue those cold temperatures throughout the night. Temperatures are going to be in the mid to lower 30s. We'll even reach down to about freezing for our low tonight. But coming up here in a bit, we've got quite a bit to talk about. First off, this system on Thursday that will have some rain, but could possibly have some wintry mix along with it. We also have another chance for precipitation next Monday, but we might see a heat wave in the next couple of days and a cold blast a little further out. I'll have all of that information here in just a bit.
More Americans are relying on credit cards to cover basic goods as inflation rages on. New data from the Census Bureau says that more than 35% of households used credit cards or loans to help cover spending in December. That's up from 32% in November and 21% in April of 2021. This may spell bad news for consumers because of interest rates, which are skyrocketing, with the average credit card annual percentage rate reaching a new high of 19.14% last week, according to Bankrate.com. That means people could be saddled with more debt, paying even more for the goods in the long run. Russia and Ukraine swapping about 50 prisoners today, bringing servicemen back home to both countries. The Russian Defense Ministry sharing a video of what it says the Russian prisoners are gathering items from officials and boarding buses. The ministry also saying the soldiers will head to Moscow for medical and psychological care. Andriy Yermak, the head of the Ukrainian presidential administration, sharing his video of what he says are the Ukrainian service members coming home and singing their national anthem. Investigators are gathering more evidence in the case against the suspect accused in the murders of 4 Idaho college students. Fox News chief correspondent Jonathan Hunt has the latest.
The house behind me where those 4 students were so brutally murdered is and will remain a crime scene for some time as investigators continue to build their case against accused killer 28-year-old Brian Kohberger. Over the last couple of days, those investigators have been removing more items from this house. Those items included mattresses, and you'll remember, of course, that at least some of those students were killed as they slept in their beds. Forensics experts talking to Fox say that investigators will likely gain a whole lot more DNA evidence from this scene. Listen here.
And it's not just blood. We're talking about any kind of touch DNA, like dead skin cells that are sloughing off. You also have hair transfer, fiber transfer. All of these things are going through. And here's key. If he has blood on him, he's going to contact the surfaces that he's walking on and touching. Powerful evidence.
Brian Kohberger, meantime, remains in the county jail just a couple of miles from the house. He made his first court appearance, of course, last Thursday. He will make another appearance this coming Thursday. That, though, is just a status hearing. We are unlikely to learn much more about the case against him. In the meantime, University of Idaho students will be returning to Moscow for their spring semester, which begins this week. For many of them, it will be the first time they have been back here since fleeing in the immediate aftermath of those brutal murders. So it will be an emotional week for many students here. In Moscow, Idaho, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
Student meteorologist Chloe Arroyo is next with a complete look at the forecast. And still ahead, later on in sports, our sports director Jacob Leonard sits down with Colgan basketball's head coach to discuss the team.
Well, I hope y'all are bundling up tonight. It's pretty chilly outside. Let's take a look at our Indigo Sky and Casino and Resort live in Seneca, Missouri. Right now, very calm outside, but very, very chilly outside. So if you're out and about tonight, you're going to want to make sure that you're bundling up, getting those layers going. Temperatures in the lower 30s. Miami at 33. Grove down there freezing at 32 right now. Pittsburgh at 35. Iola up there at 36 right now. So very consistent across the board, but very cold. And even taking a wider spread of a look right now, very cold right now. Little Rock down there at 46, Oklahoma City at 43 as well. So even as you go further south, it's not going to get much warmer from there even as we head into tonight, but we might warm up here in the next coming days. Let's take a look at tomorrow afternoon. Monday will be at a high around in the 50s, 54 for Joplin. And then for Tuesday, this is where we're going to see that little bit of a warm up, not by much, but a warm up nonetheless. Joplin sitting at 62 by 4 p.m. on Tuesday. This is where it gets interesting though. We'll have lots of clouds on Wednesday afternoon. Joplin high of 59, and then we'll see a cold front push through Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And then we'll have a chance for precipitation that'll start to enter our viewing area as we head into Wednesday night. And then Wednesday overnight, we'll have some rain across the region, and then we'll have some wintry mix. So as you're waking up on Thursday morning, you might even see a couple flurries here and there. Pretty exciting, but no accumulation is expected because of how warm the ground will be from those temperatures the day prior to that. That'll be out of our system by the time we head to Thursday night. But the one thing that I want to talk about is the wind on Monday. Tomorrow we'll have lots of winds, very sustained winds of about 10 to 15 mile per hour coming from the south. So definitely hold on to your hat while you're out and about in the afternoon, especially in the afternoon. Then as we head into the evening hours, it'll kind of fade away. But in the mid-morning to the afternoon hours, we also have some gusts along with that, upwards of 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, once again coming from the south. So that'll be warming us up on Tuesday into Wednesday. Now looking into tonight, we'll have temperatures in the 30s, even dipping down to freezing at 32 for our low. And then for tomorrow, we'll be reaching up into the mid 50s, 55 for Monday, but we'll have some warmer temperatures on Tuesday and Wednesday, sitting in the lower 60s, which sounds pretty nice, followed by a cold front, pretty much the opposite of that on Thursday, which we have a chance for some flurries here and there. Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's always that wind. It's going to make me hate my life.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to keep your hair together, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh.
there you go.
It's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, you can always be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOM Skywatch Weather app. Former Pitt State wide receiver John Brown caught his first touchdown of the season this afternoon for the Buffalo Bills playing against the New England Patriots. Brown is in his 9th year in the NFL after being a third-round pick back in the 2014 NFL Draft straight out of Pittsburgh State. Today's touchdown is his 31st career touchdown in the NFL. And coming up in sports, the Colgan girls basketball team climbs the state rankings up to number 3 after a 7-0 start to the season. Panthers head coach Abby Farabi joined sports director Jacob Leonard in studio after the break to talk about the team's hot start.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're sitting down now with Abby Farabi, head coach of the Colgan girls basketball team. Obviously, you guys are off to a good start, 7-0 to start the season. You know, you were 18-0 last year, so I know you know this feeling of getting off to a good start. But each team's different. What's working so well so far this season for this team?
You know, I think it's just our leadership with our bigs. You know, Torrance and Lily, everybody knows. Even like when we talk. Everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows what they need to stop. But they've done a really good job for us, you know, as far as leadership. I've really challenged them in that aspect because they're young, you know, and that's really big to me is leadership. You got to have leadership to be successful. And I felt like after Christmas break, they've really figured it out, and that's been really big for us.
I want to talk about those two, Lily Brown and Lauren Torrance, as basketball players. Obviously, they're very good. What makes each of them special? And, you know, does having the other one out there kind of create space for the other one to kind of work?
Yeah, it's like a 1-2 punch. You know, they're alike, but they're very different. Like, you know, Torrance is pretty good with her back to the basket. She can shoot the three really well, and she handles the ball. Lily can, you know, nearly touch the rim. You can throw her any pass. That's what we always tell them, just throw it up and give it a chance, and she can catch it. But they're doing a very good job of, you know, playing through each other and together, and they're both very, very unselfish. And 6'2", 6'1", they can run the court. I mean, I know I wouldn't want to be doing a scouting report against them.
You know, I've been out and watched you guys, and you have a freshman, Jacayla Davis, who I thought was really impressive, an athletic kid. First off, Why has she been able to be so good so early, and what's her potential, I guess, in the next few years?
Yeah, that's a good question, because this summer, if you would have asked me if she would have been starting, my answer would have been no. I thought Torrance was going to be our point guard, but I think she's really matured. We ask a lot of her. She had some really big shoes to fill, with Lou graduating, but she just carries herself so well. And she's a ball player. She spent a lot of time. She's put in, I can't take any credit for her success because she's done it all on her own. She's always outside shooting. She's always got a ball in her hand, and it's her love. And, the girls, Torrance and Lily, have done a really good job of molding her, and she's done a really, really good job of playing through them, because she's used to having to do it all. And that was my biggest concern, is, trying to do too much, and I think she's done a great job.
You guys have Galena on Tuesday, and then, of course, tournament week is coming up, and you guys play in the Tony DeBray Classic in Liberal. First off, I know you guys take a lot of pride in going and winning that tournament, right?
Yeah, we don't like to lose. We want to win them all. But, yeah, we let's see, last year we won it, but the previous 2 years we lost in the championship, and that's tough. And I think the kids, really I think our culture is just really good right now, and the kids want to win it all. And, we do take it a game at a time, but tournament week's always fun. It's always a great time of the year.
What is it about that tournament? Is it just seeing different, why do you like it so much? Why do you like to play in it? Is it just seeing new teams?
I think so, because with the double round robin in the league, we scout each other so hard that you don't even really play basketball. So you go over there, and it's physical, and the atmosphere that, the gym's small, and it's packed in there. It's just a lot of fun, and you can score a lot of points on that court, and you can give up a lot too. We do that well too. But it's just, I don't know, there's just something about a championship Saturday.
Is there any pressure? You guys have obviously been ranked in the state. You made the state tournament. How do your girls handle being ranked third in the state? Is that something you talk about, or did they even discuss that?
We talked about it when they first came out, and I think we were sixth, and we haven't talked about it since. I don't know. I'll ask them at practice if they've paid much attention, but we just take it a game at a time. Our ultimate goal is obviously we'd really like to hang a white banner. That's been my goal since I started, and we've come close. But after last year, we got upset, and it taught me a lot as a coach, and it's not always about, getting that banner, but just getting the most out of the kids and, creating a positive environment, and I think these kids are having fun, and, we want to win, but if we don't, we'll learn from it.
Last question I have for you guys have obviously been to the state tournament 3 years in a row. So I know you have some girls who are hungry to get back, but not just hungry to get back to finish the job. Is that something that you can sense motivates your girls, having kind of been there a few years in a row?
Yeah, I think so. We got that taste. Let's see, Torrance would have been a sophomore. Lily she hit that game winner, and we got state runner-up. And then last year we were undefeated and we lost first round. So I think, and just the step that they've made from Christmas to now, I just feel like they've got a mission, and we're not stopping until we get it. So we'll see.
All right, Coach. I appreciate you coming out here. You guys certainly have a fun team to watch. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.
Well, eventually some movie will top the Avatar sequel at the box office. Would it be this weekend? We'll see. David Daniel has early estimates for the top 5 films in theaters.
Where is your spear? Should have gave me this to try.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever made $3.4 million for 5th place and a domestic total of $445 million. A Man Called Otto, starring Tom Hanks, took 4th place, earning $4.2 million in fewer than 650 theaters. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish slipped to 3rd on ticket sales of $13.1 million.
If she comes in this room, I'll rip your head right off your neck, I swear to God.
Megan made a killing. The horror flick about an android with attitude, which cost us $12 million to make, grossed $30.2 million for a 2nd place debut. Avatar: The Way of Water held off Megan's challenge for a 4th straight weekend title, taking in another $45 million for a domestic total of $517 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The alcohol consulting company Bump Williams says beer prices, not including sales at bars and restaurants, jumped 7% during the last 13 weeks of 2022. The firm said beer prices, including some popular beers like Bud Light, Miller Lite, and Coors Light, increased even higher by 10%. During that time, breweries have had to raise prices due to inflation and the increased cost of shipping and ingredients. However, industry insiders say while people are generally buying less beer, higher prices are making up for it, with sales up about 2% last year. Up next, how a New England Patriots superfan received the opportunity of a lifetime. One Patriots superfan got the surprise of a lifetime earlier this week. Connor Magliozzi caught up with 10-year-old Kellen Tilton from Detroit after he learned that he was going to the Super Bowl.
Kellen Tilton's love of football comes from his family.
I've watched two of my brothers specifically. They loved football. They were in high school, and I've been watching them since I was like 1.
Kellen watched them win 2 state titles and fell in love with the sport.
My brother Sam, he's the bigger one, he would make the holes, and my brother Tucker, he was the running back, would run straight to him.
Kellen is also a massive New England Patriots fan. As for his favorite player,
Ramondre Stevenson, their running back. I mean, he's the best. Whenever he sees a tiny hole, he goes right through it. And if there's someone in his way, he either stiff arms them or trucks right through them.
Not too long ago, Kellen attended a clinic hosted by the Patriots. With a catching ability that would give Jerry Rice a run for his money and one of the most upbeat personalities out there, Kellen caught the eye of the Patriots. Kellen was joined by his friends and family at school for a video call, having no idea what would happen next.
How are you? No, Kellen, you're an inspiration to our team, the players, our whole fan base. We're really proud to have you as a fan, and we want to do something for you, and that's to send you and someone, whomever you choose, to go to the Super Bowl.
I was so shocked. It was hard to focus on my school after that. I had to go back to class.
And as for his pick and who's going to be in the big game?
Patriots and the 49ers.
And to aid the Patriots in their quest for a Lombardi trophy, Kellen has a message for the man under center.
So I would talk to Mac Jones and I would say, so, you throw the dimes that you always throw.
No matter what happens on the field, Patriots Nation is going to be represented by one of its best at Super Bowl 57.
That kid knows his football.
He sure does. His reaction when he got the news, that was so sweet. I
can't imagine. He said it was hard going to class. And it'd be hard for me to go to class after that, too.
I want to be able to focus after that. My goodness.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, Chloe, what's going on with the weather? What can we look forward to?
Yeah, so 2 things on the agenda. Thursday morning, chance for rain and a little bit of a wintry mix with that. Then on Monday evening, we'll have another chance for precipitation. Aside from that, pretty seasonal for this time of year.
Well, there we go. Not too bad. I'll take it.
Pretty nice.
Well, that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of rabbits enjoying some snacks in Chicago. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks for making us a part of your night.